Francis Reyes wants to know, what'd you do for Christmas when you were on the road with Vince and the rest of the boys in the back? What was a Christmas Day show like?
We didn't do Christmas Day shows up here.
Okay.
That was unheard of. It was, when I came up here, man, it was the first year that we did Thanksgiving, and that was sacrilege.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do that in the Northeast. That was like a Southern thing. Thanksgiving was a big day for us. Christmas Day was a big day for us. But WWE, the loop, so from December 26th through the first of the year, man, that was the money loop, because that was the holiday loop, and that was where everybody was working, and we usually ran 3 shows a night. I would usually do Toronto on the 26th because that was Boxing Day. Boxing Day is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 26th Boxing Day in Canada. So that's kind of like as big as Christmas in Canada. Then you would go usually, so we do Toronto, then either Montreal or Detroit, but something up in that area. And you usually come down and do like a Buffalo, but it would be at the end and it would be after like the Detroit show or something like that. But it was, for me, I would go home early on in the early days. I would go home to Texas for Christmas, and then I would leave. If it was bad weather, I would leave Christmas night. If it was good weather, I would leave day after and fly right into Toronto and do Boxing Day in Canada, by God, at the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, and do something somewhere and spend the time up. Then I would come back down right after the new year.
Carl Hayes has an interesting question. Shout out to Carl, who's always been a longtime supporter of us here. Is there someone?
Thank you, Carl.
Is there someone behind the scenes back in the day that many of us don't know about, that with today's technology, everyone would know their name? Like, I think we all know Pat Patterson, and we all know you now. Was there another person who was really pivotal backstage that we just never heard about?
I mean, it's normal for me. I don't know who you don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think everybody was pivotal. I think that everybody is an
plays a role.
Part of the wheel. So it's like you assume everybody knows everybody. But it runs the whole gambit, man. When you're down a person, whether it's one makeup artist, and all of a sudden you look and you go, wow, makeup's going slow today. Oh, well, we're down one. Or you're down one person in the production office and you're wondering why the security meeting is late. It's just a well-oiled team and well-oiled machine.
Aaron Steiner has a great question. What was your least favorite angle or segment you were a part of as Brother Love?
Anything with Dino Bravo. It's like pulling teeth. Just difficult, and I don't know if it was the language barrier or just lack of charisma. I didn't think that, the crazy thing is man, everywhere Dino went, Dino had been on top. But a lot of that was in Montreal, so he was French Canadian, and so that was home territory for him. But he also worked like Charlotte, Carolinas, and stuff, and he did okay there too. By the time that I was around Dino, he was just bland, and doing the Brother Love stuff, man, it was a language thing. He really didn't understand the gimmick. I didn't understand his gimmick, and we didn't understand each other from a communication thing too. So it was just difficult to get anything out of Dino. I had to do it all for him. So those guys, it was just tough sometimes. I did not enjoy working with the Ultimate Warrior because you would work with Jake the Snake, and you give him an idea. And here's what I'd like to do: bing, 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 and talk it over, and boom, you're done. But Jake had ideas. Jake, well, what if we did this? Or, okay, yeah, or you could do this, you could do that. With Warrior, it was, I'm going to do this, fuck that shit. Didn't want to hear anything else. So he was just difficult to work with. Dino wasn't that way. Dino, I just think it was genuine, not understanding of cultures and not understanding each other there was a language barrier there and what have you. Nice guy. I enjoyed sitting and having a beer with him at the bar, but it just was difficult to work with. Ron Bass, another guy that I loved to death. But Ron was difficult to get anything out of for some reason up here. And I used to have to just do everything for him. Do the whole segment myself, basically doing all the talking and give him a couple lines, and usually have to put the microphone down and edit it and tell him what to say. Those were the ones that it was like I would look at and I go, oh God, no, please. Snuka was rough, but Snuka was easy because Jimmy didn't say anything.
Right.
So I could work around Jimmy and we were friendly. So that was easy. The ones I love, give me Bobby Heenan any day of the week. Give me Hulk Hogan any day of the week. Savage, those guys, DiBiase, that were absolutely tremendous. Mr. Perfect, Jake. God, those are ones that you can just go out and they know where they're going. I know where we're going, and we get there somehow. But difficult ones were, those were the worst.
Dean has the opposite type question. What was your favorite moment in doing the Brother Love character? So we talked about your least favorites. What was your favorite?
Well, I think the first Saturday night's main event in Sacramento with Hulk, where we did the Boss Man Hard Times, and Hulk give me the slam and handcuffing me to the ring rope and the clothesline and all that shit. And that was the first time anybody had touched Brother Love. So that was a big moment. And just the electricity, man, of being in the ring with Hogan back in those days. I'd never seen anything like it. And to be in the ring with him and to feel that audience on top of you and the electricity. I mean, it was literally just thick with electricity that you could feel the audience, man. They were there with him. It was like they were in the ring, with you. A lot of them with Hogan. I love working with Piper. But the number one, man, if you were to say, hey, what's the one? The one is Hogan Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah.
And then the first time that I really met Roddy and worked with Roddy, when I went out to Denver to work with him, to talk to him about doing the Piper's Pit
at
WrestleMania that year.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, go out. He'd like to do something. Go on out and talk to him. See if you can get him to do this. And we hit it off, and we did it. But that was one that was, no TV, and record any of it. And that's how I quickly learned how Roddy operated.